So as we move along here, let's kind of jump right into the DoseView 3D water phantom, as we talked about, and what you're here to see. So basically, there's quite a few different water phantom QA objectives. There's the acceptance testing, checking against those manufacturers' stated specs, the commissioning of the Linacs, checking all your energies, your field sizes, your wedges, etc. For getting a new Linac up and running for treatment. Your annual QA, as well as sometimes monthly. I know the 3D water phantoms are typically an annual system, but occasionally they need to come out a little more frequently. And leading up to those periodic checks where maybe beam quality is not where it should be, or you're seeing some kind of irregularities. So you have those periodic checks of the beam quality as needed as well. So what makes a good water phantom? And we kind of hit all these in spades with not only our hardware but our software. Oh, I've hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. There we go. You want highly accurate and repeatable positions. You want to produce very high quality raw measurements so you don't have to do a lot of post-scan processing. You want reliable hardware operation year after year, since it's not something you're using on a very regular basis. Best case scenario annually. You want it to be there, and when you pull it out of the storage and fill it and run it, you want it to be robust enough to operate correctly and accurately year after year. You want easy setup and use, since again, it may only be used on an annual basis, so you want to be able to jump right back into it. And that's one of our advantages of our software, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. And you want that flexibility and compatibility, the ability to use a host of different detectors, be it ion chambers or diodes, or our commercially available scintillation detectors, W1, W2, for small field scans. You want to be able to incorporate and export to various TPS formats, and we do that as well. And I'll kind of touch on that in the software also. But a nice feature with ours is we don't charge additional costs for additional treatment planning systems. So if you have more than one treatment planning system in your facility, we do cover those with the standard availability of our system. So, going into our hardware, as I mentioned, better hardware, better data, a more accurate and robust system gives you much better raw data, and, leads to less post-scan processing. There's not, you don't have that smoothing, you don't have the shifting, adjusting of the beams. So, we use everything we use it's a heavy gauge extruded aluminum. It maximizes rigidity, it simplifies the setup, and it maintains that reproducibility. We have a positional accuracy and repeatability within 0.1 millimeter per axis, and it allows for a quick 3-point leveling. We've got a very unique leveling system and alignment system for our ion chambers. Makes it very quick, and it's something you don't have to go back and forth to do. It's a very easy system. And even before the system goes out the door, each individual water phantom is tested on an industrial coordinate measurement unit to verify those accuracies and the performance of the system. And we burn in every unit. We run it to make sure that the motors are staying aligned, and everything is calibrated within the system. Some of our other functions outside of the water phantom itself, or the tank and the robot system, our water tank and frame, they're mechanically secured together, so that ensures a long time integrity as well as accuracy. We've got an advanced kind of what we call a suction drain system that minimizes the water in the tank after you drain it, so none of the armature or none of the system will sit in the residual water. It actually pulls the water out of the water phantom itself all the way down into. We have a little moat around the bottom that keeps the drainage of the water complete. Then we also have a fully integrated lift and reservoir cart with a precision positioning platform But we do also have a lift cart only as far as if you don't want the reservoir, if you want to use a sink fill or a separate reservoir, you can certainly do that as well. We also have the precision positioning platform with coarse rotational adjustments that lock in at 45 and 90 degrees, so you can do those diagonal scans very easily. And it's also got fine adjustment levers, and you can see those on the corner here and on the side, which gives you fine adjustment in the X, Y, and rotational position. And then we kind of redesigned our hardware about a year and a half ago. We redesigned the tank itself, gives it a little bit lower profile, but still gives you the ability to maintain those large field size scans. It's a more compact design. It's got improved rigidity, and then it also allows you to be Halcyon compatible. So those of you who are thinking about Halcyon or have a Halcyon system, our Water Phantom is compatible in the Halcyon system. And we also have a kind of a unique brass alignment cap that you can utilize for the internal positioning of the ion chamber using the imaging system of the Halcyon, since you don't necessarily have the ability to kind of get inside and eyeball it like you would outside on a conventional Linac. So that's a very handy little tool to use for Halcyon as well. We've got wireless connectivity. The pendant you see here has full functionality and is completely wireless to the system, so it's easy to walk around, get those alignment, and get those initial setups as you walk through it. So it's very intuitive. It's got all the functionality and on adjustment. You can set your origins and move the tank, change your probe speed from slow to fast to step mode at those 0.1 millimeter increments. So that kind of simplifies your setup and your system configuration, getting ready to scan. The onboard display always shows where the probe position is, as in reference to the origin you set. Like I mentioned, the 3-button probe speeds. And a nice feature too is there's also a bias switch on the pendant. So if you're out in the console area, you turn the bias on, then you realize you need to go back in to make an adjustment on a chamber, something like that. But you walk through the maze, get into the vault next to the Linac, and realize that you left the bias on. You don't have to make that trek back out to the console. You can actually turn the bias off at the pendant. So that's a nice little convenience feature there as well. And then we also, not only is the pendant itself wireless, but the system itself, you can use it either in a wired configuration or wireless. It comes with a radio frequency, Zigbee radio frequency transmitter and receiver that you can utilize, so your Water Phantom to the receiver can be wireless, which is a nice feature, so you don't have all those cables and cords hanging around to tangle up and trip on as you walk around and get your scans done. So it gives you that versatility and convenience. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a very long experience with electrometers and reference class electrometers, and that's no different with our DoseView 3D electrometer. It's a charge digitizing electrometer, so you get that ability for that high-speed data acquisition. It's got a 10 femtocoulomb resolution. It has dual polarity bias voltage you can set, and individual settings for all those different biases that you might want to use depending on the chamber you're using, and then independent bias voltages as well for your reference and your field channel. So as I mentioned, we've got kind of an innovative and time-saving alignment system for the ion chambers with the 3-point leveling system. It's not an automatic leveling system. We've kind of played around with that, and we always kind of go back to the the manual system because it's easy. You don't have to sit and wait for it to run its routine. You can kind of get into a course adjustment, get in there, do your fine adjustment, and with their water surface alignment jig, it makes it very easy to set that up. We've got, as I mentioned, our relationship with the University of Wisconsin Calibration Lab. They've got one of our DoseView Phantoms, and the gentleman that does most of the scanning can pretty much, once the tank is filled, he can get it aligned and ready for scanning in about 10 minutes. Once he gets it under the Linac, and it's a pretty quick setup. But we have that alignment jig that allows you to kind of visually see any misalignments or rotations for the positioning of the ion chamber. So then when you get the alignment jig set up in this position, we also have this alignment jig for the chamber. We set that up, lock that into place utilizing this positioning platform here. Then you can take this nylon holder, replace this with it, and it automatically will set the position of that chamber where that jig basically dictated should have been. So we have multiple chamber holders that are included, both for cylindrical type chambers or for parallel plate chambers, as you can see there. Number of different ones for our A28 scanning chambers, farmer chambers, any of the commercially available plain parallel ion chambers as well. We've got universal cylindrical chamber holder also. So if you're using other manufacturers or a larger volume chamber or anything along those lines, you can easily utilize that as well. So as I mentioned, the water alignment jig gives you quick and easy setup. And then we also have a nice feature with the software, which is an automatically fine beam center. So once you kind of set things up and you want to find that beam center, you turn the beam on, hit the beam center button. It'll run out in all four directions to find those beam edges and give you any shifts that you need to truly center your ion chamber. And you can do that at any multiple depths if you desire as well. One thing we also did not too long ago, about a year ago, I guess it is now, we integrated our 1D water phantom software into the DoseView software, which gives you basically some of the functionalities within the 3D system and allows you to do your depth measurements with the 1D Phantom using the same software, and then utilizing our Supermax or our Max 4000 or Max 4000 plus electrometers. So that integrated software kind of makes it a one-stop shop for all your water scanning. Along with our electrometer expertise, we also have ion chamber expertise. We've been manufacturing the X-Radon ion chambers for quite a few years now. We actually purchased the X-Radon line back in about 2000, so it's been about 23 years. And the nice features about the ion chambers, we have a full range of ion chambers. We've got the A28 you see here, which is our scanning chambers. It's at 0.125 scanning volume. A spherical collecting volume. So if you're going in plane or cross plane, you don't have to account for that. It's a truly spherical collecting volume. So your in plane scans and cross plane scans will be identical as far as the data taking. We've got a whole host of different ion chambers from various sizes, from the smallest A16, which is 0.007 cc, up to our 0.6 cc our 0.6 cc farmer chambers. We also have a whole host of spherical chambers as well. We also have our diodes, our both vertical and horizontal diodes for stereotactic. We also have our the only commercially available scintillation detectors for water phantoms, our W1 for point measurements, and our W2 for actual scanning. But all our ion chambers are composed of a homogeneous Shankar C552 plastic. It's a conductive plastic, so the collector guard and shell are all made of that material. So there's no brittle graphite. There's no metal within the chamber itself. They're all low Z, um, almost invisible to the beam materials. And we've got that proven X-rated quality. So we offer a 5-year warranty on all our ion chambers. And now my PowerPoint has paused. There we go. Sorry. We've got a very easy to use moving to the software now. I kind of touched on all the hardware components, but like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. And if there's anything you wanted to set up a kind of a more personalized one, we can kind of touch on that as well. If you send me an email at the end of this or contact your representative. But anyway, going into our software now, we set up the software to have a easy left to right, top to bottom navigation, like you're used to for most of your Windows or similar applications. We fully integrated the DoseView 3D and the DoseView 1D systems, as I mentioned now, into the software as well. So you don't have to learn 2 different softwares for utilizing your 1D and your 3D. We like to say we have no hidden features. Everything is kind of at your fingertips. Everything is out in the open. You don't have to go digging for different functionalities within the software. It's all right there for you. And then we have very intuitive menus for scan queue setup, measurement, and analysis. I think we have one of the easiest scan queue setups available out in the market today. So I'm going to kind of jump out of here and jump into the software and just kind of give you a quick overview of the software as well. So let me jump out of there and fire up the software. So this is your title page, kind of just showing you can either go into your DoseView 3D or your DoseView 1D. I'm going to jump into the 3D. And basically, you have 3 different tabs. You've got your setup tab, your measure tab, and your analyze tab. Very easy, very at your fingertips. Everything is kind of intuitive. This is your clinics and machines where you can set up your different clinics. If I want to check on, I can click on that. Here's my 2 machines I have under that demo AAPM clinic. I can take a look at my different Linux, and I can set those up with my various energies as well. So this one I've got 4 energies. This one I've got just my 6 MV. So you have that functionality, quick and easy to set those up. You just add a clinic, add your parameters there. If I want to add a Linux, same thing. Just add my name, my manufacturer, what model it is, the SAD, etc. So that's pretty easy, straightforward. And that's the same for your detectors. You can add different detectors as you see here. I'm going to kind of jump over that to preferences real quick. This is just your date format, your time format, what your CSV delimiter is, whether it's commas or semicolons, depending on what you use, et cetera. And the same for the decimal separators too. If you're in the States here, we typically use a period, but elsewhere in the world, a lot of people use a comma for your decimal separator. So it's just set that accordingly. But as I mentioned, one of the quick and easy things we really like about the software, and our users really like it as well. We wanted to develop a software that had very easy queue scan queue setup. So it's pretty straightforward. As you see here, we've got kind of four categories subjects here, and you can see here is that marked as not set, and it kind of walks you through. So if I enter a name, I'm going to call it test scan. You'll see that's marked as complete there. And now I can go to my energies. And for this one, I want to do 6 MV. So I choose that. I can easily add other energies as needed. If I've got some electron energies or I've got some other energies I want to add, I can easily do that. Same with field sizes. You can see a whole host of field sizes here. I can delete them accordingly. If I don't want to do, if I don't have a 12 by 12, I can get rid of that. But I want to do maybe a 10 by 10 for this one. And my scan types, as you see, these are all getting complete now. got my cross plane scans, my in plane scans, my depth scans, diagonal. I can do cross plane positive, cross plane negative half scans, things like that. So um, you can go ahead and choose those. And this I want to do maybe a cross plane and a depth scan. And you'll see when I choose those, I get a couple of other categories here. I want to go my depths. I want to choose my depth, so it's 6 MV. So I want to go to DMAX, and I want to do one. I want to do one at 10. I want to do one at 20. My CAX offsets, if I want to do if I want to do one at maybe a 10 cm offset, I can add that. If I don't want to do that, I can just uncheck it, and I only want to do my central axis, so that's easy enough. And then lastly is my scan mode. So you can see they're all complete here, but I also have a couple things I can do here. I can choose either step or continuous. And this I want to maybe do continuous. I have zones that I can set up. Right now my resolution is set up for single. So across the whole scan, I'm going to be doing 15 millimeters per second. And you can adjust that accordingly if you want to do, if I want to do 4 millimeters per second, I can do that as well. I can also, if I choose step, you can see that changes to my resolution of millimeters. So I can go from, I can go 2 millimeters resolution steps or whatever I choose. But my zones here, I can choose multiple zones. And this is where I can change my resolutions throughout the scan. So if I, wanted to have a higher resolution in the shoulder and penumbra region, I can do that here. I set that to a 1 millimeter resolution. And then the tails and the flat region, I have higher resolution of, a lower resolution of 2 millimeters per second. So you have that functionality to adjust that as well. And that's the same with the depths too. I can set it up for single zones. I can do my directions up or down, my multiples. So I can, if I want a higher resolution in the DMAX region, I can set that accordingly as well. So that's kind of your ease of setting up those scan queues, which is nice. And then we also have copy and editing functions along the line too. So if I wanted to maybe change the energy for this particular set, I can choose that accordingly. Same with the whether I want to make that in plane or cross plane, I can just change those. I can, excuse me, I can copy that as well. Make maybe I want to do profile quick, and I want to copy that. And you'll see now at the bottom, I've got a copy of that. I can click that and I can edit that. I can rename it if I wanted to call it copy 2, and I want to change that to 15 MV for all my scans. I can do that easily. So you've got that capability as well. So you don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel with each energy or with each field size. You can go ahead and do that copy and editing and make that quick adjustment there as well. So then moving into the measure area, you choose your machine, whichever Linac I've got. This one I want to do my TrueBeam. You got my SAD and my SSD accordingly. I can set my dose rates. I can choose my water phantom. This is a nice feature too, because you're not using the water phantom on a very regular basis. And it's something, we have our software is fairly simple and easy to learn and run, but we do have the ability to kind of run it in demo mode. So I can turn on that demo mode, I can connect to demo mode, I can initialize it accordingly, and then I can play around with it in like a sandbox type functionality to kind of reacquaint myself with the software. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get back. So I can reacquaint myself with the software without having taking up Linac time or being connected to the water phantom. I can kind of play around with things. I can choose my detectors, my electrometer, my position, setting up where I want to go, where my origin is. I can set the origin here, or like if you remember with the pendant and you're in the room and you set the origin in there, the software will recognize that that was set by the pendant. Here's the locate beam center, so I can do that as well, as I mentioned. And then the phantom orientation, and that's just how the phantom is sitting under the gantry, whether your electrometer I'm sorry, your motion control unit is here, or if it comes in from the side, accordingly. So you can kind of make that positional arrangement there. And then setting up your queues. I just want to grab a quick queue here. So here's the just telling you to make sure that your dose rate settings are correct. But I've got a couple different scans here. I've got a 6 MV 10 by 10 depth and a 15 MV 10 by 10 depth. I can go ahead and zero my electrometer. I can go ahead and set the normalization. So I want to, in this position, I want to go to 1.5 because it's the Dmax position here. So I can go ahead and normalize there and close that. And then you can go ahead and start your scan. So, but basically, once your scan is done, you can go ahead and head over to the analyze page. You can load those load a scan here, and I'm just gonna load a couple here because it can just kind of show you a couple things I did kind of just to get ready for this. I'm gonna go to a few scans here that I've got. I'm gonna go to 36. I want to pull 38, 40, and 45. These are all similar scans, and I'll just kind of show you some of the functionality there. As I bring those scans in, you can see they're all 10 by 38 by 38 scans at a 10 centimeter depth. And I just want to kind of show you a few different things here. We've got the various different filters you can utilize. We've got a couple different smoothing. We've got a Gaussian and a boxcar smoothing. We've got a point edit. So if you've got one wonky point for some reason, you can go ahead and edit that and adjust that accordingly. Got a couple different normalizations. You can normalize to a specific value. You can normalize at center. You can center the scan. You can do an average symmetric calculation. You've got the ability to mirror minus to positive. You have the ability to mirror positive to minus. You can do a flip of the scan, and then you can also do a shift. And that's not only for the profiles, but also for the depths. There's filters for the appropriate filters for the depth measurements as well. But you have those functionalities. We've got the ability to merge half scans. So if you've got a half scans you've done, you can go ahead and merge those. You can add and remove filters. So if you want to take a peek and see what filters I've got, I have these normalized to value, normalized to center, some Gaussian smoothing as well. I can always remove that last filter, or I can clear all those filters and start fresh if I wanted to go from the raw data right to do some post-scan processing. I always have the ability to show the raw data. This is the process data, but I can show that raw data where it is set and not normalized. So you have that functionality. Another functionality that we just added, which was just released in our 3.1 software, is our additional scan comparisons. And that adds not only it gives you the ability to choose a set of scans that you want to use as a reference. So if you have a set of say your gold beam data from your commissioning set and your commissioning scans, you can set those to be your reference scans. And then you can compare any subsequent scans to that down the road that you may do. And you'll see you get a gamma score here comparing back to that reference. You can look at the metrics here, and you'll see that we've got not only the scan parameters here or the results for specifics, but it also compares it back to that reference. And in this case, I set scan 36 to my reference. And that's why I don't have any comparative scan numbers along here. Those two asterisks just note that this is my reference scan. But then 38, 40, and 45, comparing it back to that reference scan of 36. So you can kind of see how the beam might have changed over time. So there's a few different discrepancies here, but nothing too major where it might cause you issue, but you can always compare it back to that reference scan just to see how the beam may have changed over time. So aside from those scan comparisons, we've got the ability to export the scans as well, and you got the ability to do a number of different exports to your various treatment planning systems. We added CyberKnife in the last release as well, but the Eclipse, we can go to Monaco, Electa's Aqua QA platform, Philips Pinnacle, Rayplan. You can export it in a DoseView format. So if you've got the DoseView software on another laptop or PC somewhere that you want to maybe analyze and do some post-scan processing, you can do that by just exporting the DoseView format. Also, our CSV format. So if you wanted to put them into a Excel type format, you can do that and export that. You can export your PDD tables. You can export the TPR as well. So you have all those functionalities for export. You can also import scans. Like I said, if we have other DoseView scans, you can import those. Another nice feature with our software is if you do have legacy scans from say IBA or PTW, an older platform, Water Phantom, you can import those scans as well and view them and process them or compare them within the DoseView software. And then we also have the reports being the CSV export at this point. In the future, we'll have additional reporting functionality, isodose curves, for example, and PDFs as well. So some of the functionalities. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to give you an overview today. I know it's very quick, but wanted to kind of touch on a little bit of everything for you. Let me kind of jump back into the PowerPoint. Just kind of give you a quick overview now, the summary. Hardware wise, everything is structurally rigid, designed for very much unparalleled repeatability and accuracy. Everything is with a 0.1 millimeter axis precision. Quick system setup, wireless functionality for setup ease and time saving. Fast acquisition electrometer with independent bias, and a very intuitive and versatile detector alignment system. Software, that fast and easy queue setup for not only depth scans but profile scans for all your energies in different modalities, including FFF or SRS, what have you. The conversion of our depth scans to PDDs and export of the PDD tables and the TPR tables. Export to any number of treatment planning systems, as I just showed you. You can, one thing I didn't mention is for those depth scans, you can force a point at Dmax measurement. So if you have a scan queue that might miss a true measurement at the Dmax point for your depths, you can force that point to be measured, and then it will return back to the original scanning path. And you have those easy single point measurements as well in the 1D side. So yeah, that functionality do for your TG142 or your TG51 monthly measurements. Again, the software easy left to right, top to bottom. There's no hidden features, as I mentioned. Everything is kind of at your fingertips. You got the ability to choose your step or continuous scanning with those multiple zone resolutions, full export, the import functionality for legacy scan data, and again, those straightforward post-scan processing and metrics. It's very easy, very right at your fingertips. As I mentioned, with 3.1, it's now available. We added the additional scan comparisons, comparison back to a user set of reference scans, the gamma analysis as well, the TPS and TPR table export to CyberKnife precision treatment planning system also. So that kind of touches on everything. Like I said, it was just a quick. I went a little long. I apologize about that. It's kind of hard to even do an overview in a short amount of time because it's a pretty comprehensive system. But for more information, feel free to visit standardimaging.com. You can contact sales at standardimaging.com for more information as well. That will get directed to your regional rep or your distributor, depending on where you're located. And you can always send an email to me at hpeterson@standardimaging.com, and we can set up a more in-depth demo if you'd like.